Knowing what the soul experiences after death will blow your mind. Friend, when this biological VR headset that you call your body completely powers off, what actually happens? We saw in the previous video that your brain isn't creating consciousness. Rather, it's just catching the signal of that infinite consciousness like a radio receiver. But at the moment of death, when doctors shock your chest, when your heart stops beating, and the brain's EEG monitor shows a straight flat line, what finally happens to that invisible signal, to that frequency? Most people think that after death, there will be pitch darkness, exactly like it was before being born. Some people think they will open their eyes and stand in front of the massive gates of a church where their deeds will be judged. But when modern science, quantum physics, and thousands of years old Eastern philosophy collide, the truth about the afterlife that emerges is so terrifying and mind-bending that it will completely flip your perspective on existence. Now I'm going to tell you about a medical observation that has blown the fuses of the biggest, most hardcore materialist doctors in the world over the last few decades. A reality so shocking that top-tier neurologists lose their sleep over it, and their entire scientific belief system gets shaken. In medical science, this is called near-death experiences, or NDEs. There is a medical definition of death called clinical death. This means when the blood flow to your brain stops, the brainstem completely shuts down, and there is absolutely zero electrical activity left in the brain. Science says that without electrical activity, there can be no thought, no memory, and no experience. If a computer's CPU is off, how can a game run on the monitor? But over the last 50 years, millions of such cases have been recorded where after clinical death, when patients were brought back to life, they experienced a reality that was 1,000 times more real, vivid, and sharper than this physical world. Those patients clearly stated that when their brains were completely dead, their consciousness, their feeling of I, stepped right out of their bodies. They watched the doctors giving them CPR from the ceiling of their own operating room. They heard the exact conversations the doctors were having at that moment, which is medically and scientifically absolutely impossible. So a very dangerous question arises here, my brother. If your brain was shut down, your eyes were closed, and your ears weren't working, then who was looking down from the ceiling of that operating room? What eyes were seeing without physical matter, and what ears were hearing without eardrums? This is the exact point where the boundary of Western science ends and a reality begins that will blow your mind. When the soul, or pure consciousness, leaves this body, the very first thing it experiences is hyper-awareness. Right now, you are seeing a very limited reality because of your biological brain. Your eyes can only see a tiny fraction of visible light. Your brain's hardware is so weak that it cannot process too many things at once. But the moment your connection to this physical brain breaks after death, that restriction, that filter, disappears forever. You suddenly start seeing in 360 degrees. You begin to perceive the past, present, and future all at once, because time is just an illusion of this physical 3D dimension. Einstein's theory of relativity and the block universe model have already told us that time is not a flowing river, but rather the past, present, and future all exist at the exact same moment. After death, you cross that wall of time. There is no tomorrow or yesterday there. There is only an infinite eternal now. But the second phase that comes after this is even more deep and mind-blowing. NDE survivors call this phase the life review. In Western religion, we are taught from childhood that after death there will be a massive judgment day, where a supreme entity will count your sins and send you to heaven or hell. But reality is far, far more complex and terrifying than a church book. In the life review, no external God judges you. It's just you, and every single second of your entire life. Every single thought you ever had plays out in front of you, like a cosmic VR simulation. But there is a massive twist here, friend. When you look at the events in this life review, where you caused pain to someone else, you don't experience that event from your own perspective. You actually experience it from the other person's perspective. Imagine that years ago, out of anger, you said something terrible to a close friend that broke their heart. In this physical world, you only remember your anger, but after death, in that life review, you will literally enter into that friend. You will feel the exact physical pain rising in their chest, that sadness and that humiliation, 100%, exactly the way they felt it. Why? Why does this happen? I am now going to tell you the ultimate dark secret of quantum physics and Eastern mysticism, a secret that makes top-tier philosophers and quantum scientists sweat, and their fingers tremble when they even think about it. This happens because in this entire universe, in this entire existence, The other simply does not exist. Advaita Vedanta and Buddhism have been screaming for centuries that this entire reality is non-dual. This means that in this infinite universe, there is only one supreme consciousness experiencing itself through different bodies and avatars. The consciousness inside your friend was the exact same consciousness inside you. It was only the illusion of ego and the physical body that made you feel like you two were separate. After death, when that illusion of the body and ego shatters, you understand this terrifying and beautiful reality. Everyone you ever wronged in your entire life was just you. And everyone you did good to, everyone you loved, was also just you. There was never anyone else. You were always just interacting with different versions of yourself in a giant cosmic hall of mirrors. Now a question might be rising in your mind. If my physical brain has burned or turned to dust, then on what hardware are my memories, my identity, and this life review stored? The answer is hidden in modern quantum mechanics information conservation law. There is a massive absolute rule in physics that information can never be destroyed in this universe. The ultimate conclusion of the famous black hole war between Leonard Susskind and Stephen Hawking was that physical matter in the universe can burn, it can break, but the core quantum information of that matter always remains safe in the fabric of the universe. Let's understand this with a very simple example. If you burn a book in a fire, you might think that the story written inside it, its information, is gone forever. But on a quantum level, that information is not destroyed. That information is still encoded in the atoms of the smoke, the heat of the fire, and the leftover ash. If we had a supercomputer with infinite power that could reverse track every single atom of that smoke, we could read the entire book back from that burnt ash. The information is never lost. In that exact same way, friend, when your biological body completely shuts down at the time of death, or is burned to ashes, your core essence, that pure information of your consciousness, is not destroyed. It steps out of this physical dimension and shifts into the quantum realm or a higher dimension. Your memories, that raw feeling of I am, remains completely intact. In fact, it becomes hyper-lucid because it no longer has the limitations of a physical brain. Your consciousness expands like a wave function. But what happens after entering this expansive state? Where does the soul take its next step after the life review? This is where the biggest test of ego and identity begins. All your life, you have identified yourself with a name, a job title, a body, a gender, and your past memories. You think, I am John, I have a car, I have a family. After death, all these labels suddenly start to uninstall. This is an incredibly scary and existential moment. Imagine a drop of water falling from the sky, heading straight down to crash into an infinite ocean. As long as that drop is in the air, it has a shape, it has an identity. It thinks, I am an individual drop. But the moment it touches the ocean, its boundary, its individual shape shatters forever. Technically, that drop dies, but if you look at it from a deeper angle, that drop has now become the entire ocean. This is exactly what happens at the moment of death. When your soul moves toward the source, supreme consciousness, your ego starts getting terrified just like that drop of water. You feel like your existence is being erased, that you are disappearing forever. For people whose ego and attachment to the world are very high, this transition feels like a horrifying hell, because they refuse to let go of their identity. They want to hold on to that imaginary body that no longer exists. But for people who have already awakened in life, who have learned to detach their ego, this transition is a moment of ultimate peace and bliss. They immediately remember the absolute truth that they were never in that limited body to begin with. They realize that they aren't going to a new place after death, but rather they are just going back to their real home, their pure, infinite form, just like someone taking off a VR headset and returning to the real world. Death is actually the final awakening from this material matrix. But wait a second, friend, the movie isn't over yet, because this is where a deeply dark theory emerges, a terrifying blend of modern conspiracy and ancient Gnosticism. When people return from near-death experiences, 90% of them report one common thing. They say that after the life review, they see a very bright, warm, and loving light. That light attracts them toward it through a tunnel. Inside that light, they see their dead relatives, friends, and religious figures like Jesus or Buddha welcoming them. Every NDE survivor describes this light as absolute love and peace. But what if this light isn't the ultimate truth? What if this light, this warm feeling, isn't the path to merging with that infinite ocean, but just another cosmic trap? Certain highly advanced esoteric traditions, which are known today as the prison planet theory or the soul trap matrix, point toward a dark possibility that will give you goosebumps. They believe that this earth is not a school where our souls come to learn. They believe that this physical universe is a closed-loop system, a matrix designed specifically to harvest the pure energy of souls. And that tunnel of light is not the way to heaven. It is a spiritual mechanism for reincarnation. They say that when the soul leaves the body after death, it has the chance to merge into that absolute infinity. But the system creates the illusion of that tunnel of light to pull the soul back into the physical matrix. The soul sees its loved relatives and familiar shapes in that light so that it willingly walks right into it. And the moment the soul embraces that light, all of its past memories are wiped out, erased, and it is sent right back to this earth in a new biological body with a new brain, just to start the exact same cycle of suffering, the same game, and the same karma from zero. This theory might sound like a dark sci-fi movie, but when you read the ancient Tibetan Book of the Dead, Bardo Thodol, it also specifically states that various lights will appear after death, and the soul must avoid going into any attractive or familiar light. Otherwise it will get trapped back in samsara, the cycle of rebirth. This is a question that directly hits your deepest existential fear. Is reality truly a divine dance, a beautiful cosmic play, or are we trapped inside a highly advanced spiritual matrix in an infinite loop, where after every death, our memories are wiped and we are thrown back into this game? The soul's true journey after death begins exactly where science closes its final chapter. But the greatest truth that no law of physics or philosophy can deny is that you never die. Death only happens to the avatar, the name, the form. The pure observing awareness that you are right now is exactly the same energy that birthed the cosmos. Now take a deep breath and digest this information. We have understood the deep unity of NDEs, quantum mechanics, and Advaita. But what is the actual secret of that tunnel of light? Is reincarnation a natural process of spiritual evolution? Or is this earth truly designed like a prison planet, where our souls are tossed into a memory wipe recycle bin? If death is freedom, why do we keep coming back to the prison of this physical world? This is the exact terrifying and ultimate taboo topic, the ultimate glitch of the Matrix, that we will discuss in detail in our next video. Because once you understand the mechanics of this Matrix soul trap, the way you look at your life, your relationships, and your death will change forever. So subscribe to the channel right now and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss that dark truth. The next video is going to permanently shatter all the closed doors of your mind.